It's Monday, and I'm Betty Sawatzky. We've been listening to my chat with Dave Burba, co-organizer for the Western Canadian Nationals car show, known in the past as the Super Run. Well, the Super Run is returning to Brandon, but under the new name, and they're expecting more folks from across North America, upwards of 800 vintage vehicles who've got their shine on. For a show this size, they'll need more volunteers to join their pit crew.
Yes, volunteers are very, very important for sure. We do have a crew that's initially organizing all this, but we need a lot of foot soldiers to be able to make all this work. So the volunteers are very, very important to this organization, and we're hoping to get enough to be able to not overwork anybody and they can enjoy a good time. So yeah, just getting the word out early enough. Yeah, there's lots to do. We've been working on this for a while now. So.
I guess so. Now, registration opened up, right?
Yes, it did, yes. And we've already got quite a pile of registrations. One came in all the way from Ontario, so we're hoping to be having a lot more. I know there's a lot from the U.S. We'll be registering fairly soon, too. There's a tour that starts in the U.S., and we'll be ending up in Brandon here, so there'll be cars coming up for that. So we're really looking forward to having all these cars in Brandon.
Now, something that you mentioned earlier is that there are the awards, but most of it is the sharing of the story behind the car. What are some of the highlights of past shows that you've had yourself and from your club?
Well, it is that. I guess the biggest thing is that just talking to the people, whether they're spectators or owners of the cars, some people say, yeah, I used to have a car just like that. I wish I still did. Or my grandpa used to drive around the car. I was in the back seat. And there's so many different stories that are told. You know, it could be your first date, could be just so many different things that is relatable to the car. That's what makes everything so interesting. And that's what I hear all the time. You talk to any car person and they're willing to tell you the whole story about the car. And sometimes it's sentimental reasons. They had a car and they found it again and so starting to rebuild it. Or they found one that looks like what they had before and they're rebuilding it again. So, yeah, it's very nostalgic and, yeah, very personal for some people.
You're in a beautiful setting. This is in the park area of the Keystone Center for this, right?
Yes, that's correct. We're in underneath the trees on the grassy area. Ever since we had Super Run come to Brandon in 2007, we were told that that was probably the best venue of any of the Super Runs back then. It was under shade, it was on grass, but Saskatoon and Red Deer, it was on a parking lot, asphalt. It was hot. It was just not a very comfortable place to be. So, but in Brandon, you're sitting around your car all the time. It's just a great venue. Everybody wanted to emulate what we had here. So, yeah, we're very happy to be on the Keystone underneath those trees for sure.
That was Dave Burba, co-organizer of the Western Canadian Nationals Car Show, coming to the Keystone Center grounds August 2nd and 3rd. Visit their website for more on how to register as a car owner or as a volunteer. For CJRB Radio, I'm Betty Sawatzky. Good morning, I'm Betty Sawatzky. Spring is in the air, and when we think of spring, we know summer is just around the corner. And that means summer car shows are coming up. I finally caught up with Dave Burba, co-organizer for the Western Canadian Nationals Car Show, formerly known as the Super Run. Dave says the name change resonated more with car enthusiasts, bringing more attention to the fact that it's a classic car show for vintage vehicles.
Yes, it definitely helped to extend the reach of what we're doing for sure. Once we get, Western Canada Nationals, that definitely has drawn some attention from people that we probably wouldn't have got to before. So what we see right now, it's definitely been a plus for us, yes.
Now, you're expecting quite a few people, around the 800. The show is just a beautiful way to showcase these beautiful automobiles that have been restored. Maybe talk a little bit about that. What do you see on a regular basis, a show of this size?
Well, this show definitely brings vehicles from faraway places, normally cars that we wouldn't see in the Brandon area, that's for sure. This show seems to attract a lot of people who like to drive and drive their cars, and, that's what it's about. So we do see a lot of different things, cars, rat rods, trucks, almost anything. Last time we had some from Surrey, BC, all the way from the Minneapolis area into Ontario and even northern Manitoba. So there were just lots of different cars you see that not normally see. You see the work that's put into some of these vehicles. It's amazing. There's a lot of craftsmanship out there, a lot of people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into this vehicle for many reasons. And the biggest thing I find is the stories behind the cars. If you see a car that you like or anything else, you just start talking to the owner, and they'll tell you, where they found the car, why they found the car, how they built it. And that's the most interesting part of the whole event.
Mm-hmm. What caught my attention was that there are definitely awards like People's Choice Award, best hot rods pre-World War. That is just really cool because, yeah, there are the different categories.
Well, that's right. There is so many. And a lot of card people really don't care too much about the awards. Some really care about that. But it's a way of recognizing, the best of those categories. So, some people work really hard to make their vehicle stand out from everybody else. So yeah, it is kind of acknowledgement and reward for their hard work. So, yes, we do have, I think it's about 12 different categories. We have a young gun. So anybody underneath the age of 25, we want to really recognize them and their hard work and getting into this hobby. A lot of us older guys and gals are kind of dropping off the market on the end, so we want the younger generation to come in to take over for sure. And we also have a throttle queen category where it's a woman-owned car, female-owned car that, they drive it, maybe they help build it and everything else. So that's to recognize the females in the car show industry too. So.
All right. That is very cool. This show, it takes place August 2nd and 3rd, right?
August long weekend, yes. There's tours starting out the Monday prior to the show. We're going to go to a number of different places. We've got Killarney on the map. We've got Elkhorn. We've got Dauphin. Many different places we're going to be cruising to and just checking out different things that are happening out there. Friday is the meet and greet at the Commonwealth Air Training Museum. That's where everybody will come and pick up their packages for the show. There's also going to be museum tours up there, so that'll be great. Meet and greet Friday for all the participants. Then Saturday and Sunday is the car show. That's when all spectators can come into the Keystone grounds and take a look at all the cars. We do have a special guest coming this year. It's Mike Hall from Rust Valley Restorers. He's going to be around on the weekend to add some entertainment to the show, and everybody's looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, Mike Hall. Has he been to the show before?
Not to our show, no. We've never really had a celebrity, so to speak, at our show. So he is going to be here, and I'm sure he'll enjoy himself in Brandon. Brandon is quite the car community. I think he'll really enjoy being here, and I bet you he'll want to be back again.
That was Dave Burba, co-chair of the Western Canadian Nationals Car Show, taking place August 2nd and 3rd in Brandon. In just a bit, we'll hear more from Dave and about these car enthusiasts who love to share their ride. For CJRB Radio, I'm Betty Sawatzky.